welcome back. Today we are going to talk about Edmund Spenser. Now, before we read more about the work of Edmund Spenser, let us have a quick look upon the age in which he wrote. Spenser wrote at a time of Renaissance, the age of new beginning. It was a time when new ideologies were developing, scientific inventions and innovations were taking place, nations, the world was advancing. People were started celebrating skills in writing and rhetorics. The most important thing was that Bible was translated from Latin into English, which means Bible was translated into the language of common people, which led to a loss of church's hold on people. So when church stopped holding people back, they began exploring their talents, exploring the horizons in different ways. Poetry for Spenser was a means to advance his personal position in the society. He wrote because he wanted to write to gain recognition and not because he loved poetry. So what Spencer did was he made his poetries into a form which created tension between desire and the lack of fulfillment, which means he created a tension between something he really, really wanted but was not able to get. In most of his sonnets, there was a mistress whom he loved with all his heart but was unable to achieve. This beloved with, was a symbol of everything that poet desired in life. He acknowledges his passion and then writes about the pursuit of those passion. One of the most popular works of Spenser was in the form of sonnet. What is sonnet? Sonnet is a small poem which is of 14 lines and it is lyrical. Lyrical meaning it rhymes. So in Spenserian sonnets, there are three quatrains, which means there are three paragraphs, three stanzas of 4 lines each, and it ends with a couplet, a stanza with 2 lines. His sonnets were a way to express love and sensuality. Sonnets are brief, but they're extremely sentimental. So that was the biggest quality of Spenser's writing, that he wrote a huge deal of emotions in just 14 lines. The basic points of his sonnets were he celebrated adultery, deification of his mistress, a love which he cannot achieve, and the celebration of love to his beloved. Spenser's most popular love sonnets were a couple of sonnets, 87 sonnets, which are comprised together and are known as Amoretti sonnets. The main character of his sonnets were that they were love lyrics and they had a huge impact of classical and biblical stories. So there were a lot of metaphors and a lot of comparisons between biblical stories, between classical stories, folklores, and his beloved. Now, in Spenser's version of sonnet, mistress is accessible. She responds to him, as compared to the mistress in Elizabethan or Petrarchan sonnets, where the mistress doesn't respond. Now, these Amorati sonnets are divided into three parts. Sonnet number 1 to 36 comprise of complaints that the mistress is very distant, while sonnets 37 to 69 they bring the mistress back, in which the mistress comes back and they explore their love. They figure how the lover is responding and what one should do and what not do, or what would they like to do together. They discover their love. And in sonnets 70 to 87, which is the third part, the relationship changes and the mistress, she responds to her lover. However, there are no distinct changes in these sections. Like from 36 to 37, there is not a very huge distinction. There are very subtle changes, and sometimes the sections they overlap. The first sonnet that we are going to study is from section 1, which means it is from the section where the lover is complaining about his mistress. It is in the complaint mode. Beloved is introduced and she guides the poet towards herself. However, the light of her love is hidden from him by the clouds. He says in this sonnet that I love my mistress, but her light is not coming to me because it is hidden by the clouds. Now, what is he not able to get? He is not able to get his desires out of him. He is lost in trouble because he desires her, but he is not able to get her because she is not guiding her. She is not giving her the solace as her light is missing. He does that in the first two quatrains, in the first 8 lines, while in the last 6 lines the mood changes and he anticipates that these clouds are going to go away and he will have a very renewed and beautiful access to his beloved. The second sonnet which we have in our course of IGNOU is sonnet number 67, which is from the second phase, the phase where they are refiguring their love. Now what happens is he shows that there is a deer and a person. This deer is being hunted by the huntsman. Who is the deer? The beloved is the deer and the huntsman is the poet. And previously in Elizabethan sonnet, the poet or the lover was not able to capture his beloved, but in this he is able to catch his beloved. But she remains nervous about the prospects of their union. However, by the time the sonnet ends, there is reciprocity, which means she also responds lovingly to the love of the poem. Now, this sonnet is not divided into part of 8 and 6 like the previous sonnet was. The entire sonnet is written in one section. The last sonnet that we have to study for our course is sonnet number 77, which comes from the last phase, which means improvement in the relationship of those lovers. They're coming together. In this, Spenser forges a beautiful connection between the physical beauty of his lover and the virtue of hers. He refers to her like a paradise. He means that to his desire, she is a paradise, like a person who is very Christian or very religious, he desires heaven. Just like that, the poet desires the lover, and when he gets her, he feels that he has attained heaven. And he believes that conjugal relationships are superior to celibacy. Like the priests and the nuns, they don't marry and they prefer celibacy. They believe that celibacy are very important, but not in sonnets, not in Spenser's sonnet. He believes that the union of lovers is more important and it is better than celibacy. And just like the previous sonnet that we studied, it is not divided, it is continuous. With this, we end the part 1 of Edmund Spenser. In the second part, we are going to read about his pastoral poems. If you like the video, please like, subscribe and share. Thank you very much for watching.